Shalom, family. This is Yuda Yasharel. You know, when we were reading the book of Genesis, I think a lot of us missed something very important. So I want y'all to stick close by and pay close attention, because I think we got something here very interesting. What was the light and the darkness in Genesis creation? We know the Most High created the moon, the sun, the stars, and we know He divided the light, the day from the night. So what was really happening with that? Because as you read through the scriptures, I started to notice that whenever He mentioned darkness, it was not good. And whenever He mentioned light, it was good. And as it says right here, light is good, darkness is not good. So let's look into this. And I'm pretty sure there may be a lot of people who don't agree. So I'm just sharing with you what I see. So let's get into it. Of all the things mentioned in Genesis chapter 1, the Creator never defined darkness as good. He never defined darkness as good. It is the one thing that He never defined as good. Genesis does not say the Creator saw that the light and darkness were good. He saw the light, and only the light He called good. So the Creator is saying nothing about darkness being good. This is not a side thought or a minor issue. It is actually so important that it goes right over many people's heads. And if you are muddled on this point, you will be messed up and confused on many other points. If you can get this right, many other things will fall into place. The Creator saw that the light was good. He defined it that way right at the start, and He did not say the same about darkness. This shows us that light is good, and it also shows us that darkness is not. Also, anything that is part of light and associated with light is good. And anything that is a part of, connected to, and associated with darkness is not good. The Creator does not want us to be confused on this issue. The Creator separated, divided the light from the darkness. The word translated divided in Genesis 1 and 4 is the Hebrew word badal, meaning to divide, separate, distinguish, divide asunder, make separate. If you can recall, when I'm sorry y'all, I'm trying to stop calling Him the Most High and get in the habit of calling Him the Creator. But if you recall, when the Creator created Adam, He also told Israel that they shall be a light unto the Gentiles. Now these things are connected, and I think you'll see that as I go on. But Israel was supposed to be the light unto the Gentiles. Now, what exactly is that saying? If Israel is the light, and they are to be the light for the Gentiles, it would simply mean the Gentiles were darkness. The Creator divided, separated light and dark. He split the two and said light is on that side, darkness is on the other side. He made a division between the light and the dark, and He only defined one of them as good, and that was light. In other words, He made a clear dividing line between what is light and what is dark, so that there would be no confusion. He did not leave them mixed, overlapping, or muddled. This shows that in the Creator's eyes, light and dark do not overlap. He has separated them, divided them, made a distinction between the two. He put light on one side and dark on the other. He then defined light as good, showing that everything that is on the light side of the separation is good, and everything that is on the dark side of the separation is not defined as good. Now, before I go into Isaiah, I just want to mention something to just kind of help you see where I'm going. The Israelites was the light. So when the creation was happening in the first book of Genesis, it wasn't just describing the creation of light. Darkness was already existent. If you notice, he didn't say he created darkness. He says darkness was upon the whole earth, and he created light. So to me, I'm seeing that not only was he creating light, but that light that he was creating was a premeditated or metaphor for the coming of Israel that would be the light. In Isaiah 45:7, he says, I form the light. I create darkness. In other words, I form the good and I create the evil. I make peace and create evil. I, the Creator, do all these things. Darkness in both the Old Testament, Hebrew, hasak, is an evocative word. If light symbolizes good, darkness connotes everything that is anti-creator, the wicked. You can check Proverbs chapter 2, verse 13 and 14, and Exodus chapter 10 and verse 21. Psalms chapter 88 and verse 12. Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 2. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned. Israel has been born. Generally speaking, light serves as a symbol of life, happiness, prosperity, and in a wider sense, a perfect being, Israel. As a symbol of life, light can also serve as a symbol of immortality. Darkness, on the other hand, is associated with chaos, death, and the underworld. Now let's look at Genesis chapter 1 and verse 2. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So as we see, darkness was already there. It was the light that he spoke into existence. And the Spirit of the Creator moved upon the face of the waters. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 4. And the Creator saw the light, that it was good. And the Creator divided the light from the darkness. So let me just say this. If this is not enough to make you see that Friday sundown to Saturday sundown could not be the proper Sabbath, because there is no way the Most High would have Israel, his chosen people, celebrate his holy day in darkness. So it had to been during the day. In fact, when Israel left Egypt, they left at night. So if sundown to sundown was the true Sabbath, then Israel would have broken the Sabbath. And they would not have done that. They left on the order of the Creator. He told them to leave that night. So would he break his own law, especially the Sabbath? That proves that sundown to sundown is not the Holy Sabbath. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 5. And the Creator called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And this is the part that confuses our people. And the evening and the morning were the first day. They think this means that the evening is the beginning of the day. If that's true, that means that day and night would exist at the same time. That's not possible. So what exactly is he saying? He's saying, I created both on the first day. I did this on the first day. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 18. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. The Creator saw that it was good. Genesis 15 and verse 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. So this darkness could not have been a good thing. As it says, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. So this darkness is a horrible, wicked, evil thing. Exodus chapter 10 and verse 21. And the Creator said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt. Does that sound like darkness is a good thing? After all, this is when he was punishing the Egyptians, and he used darkness to cover the land. So darkness was not a good thing. Even darkness which may be felt. Exodus 10 and 22. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward the heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt for 3 days. Exodus chapter 14 and verse 20. And it came between the camp. I want y'all to really listen to this closely. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. This shows you. Exodus 14 and verse 20. And it came, the darkness, between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness to them. Who is them? It is the Egyptians. It was a cloud and it was darkness to the Egyptians, but it gave light by night to these. Who is these? Israel. Israel. They was not in the darkness. Israel was in the light. Because those two things are not the same. They're separate. They cannot coexist. So that the one came not near the other all night. Now let me just break that down a little bit better. This cloud and darkness to the Egyptians was the thing that kept them from being able to see Israel. But it gave light by the night. So it was still night. But Israel, to these, had light. So that neither party, the Egyptians nor the Israelites, would come near to one another all night long. They were protected from the darkness. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 29. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore. And no man shall save thee. They were in the darkness, just like today. So can you see how easy it is to miss this when you read the creation in Genesis? There was more going on than just creating the trees and the grass and the animals and the water and the firmament. There was more going on. He was also creating or preparing to create a being that was considered to be a light unto the Gentiles. Joshua 24 verse 7. And when they cried unto the Creator, he put darkness between you and the Egyptians. Y'all check it out. It's right here. And when they cried unto the Creator, he put darkness. Darkness is not a good thing. Between you and the Egyptians. And he brought the sea upon them and covered them, and your eyes have seen what I have done in Egypt. And ye dwelt in the wilderness a long season. Samuel chapter 1 verses 2 to 9, or 2 and 9. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness. I ask you again, is darkness a good thing? Is the Sabbath sundown, which is darkness, to sundown, which is also darkness? As you can see, darkness is not considered good, and there is no way the Most High will celebrate his holy day in darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail. Samuel chapter 2 verses 20. 2 Samuel chapter 22 and verse 10. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. Darkness was under his feet. 2 Samuel 22 and 12. And he made darkness pavilions round about him, dark waters, and thick clouds of the skies. 2 Samuel 22 and 29. For thou art my lamp. Who is he talking about? Who is a light unto the nations? For thou, Israel, art my lamp, O Creator, and the Creator will lighten my darkness. He will bring me out of the darkness, because the darkness is not good. It's simply not good. So when you see people trying to make the Sabbath from sundown to sundown, they're trying to force something onto the Creator that was never intended to be. For thou art my lamp, the Most High, the Creator. Y'all, I got to break this habit. My next lesson is going to be dealing with this. My next lesson is going to be dealing with, should we address the Creator by the title, the Most High? For thou art my lamp, O Creator, and the Creator will lighten my darkness. He will open my eyes and bring me into the light. 1 Kings chapter 8 verse 12. Then spake to Solomon. The Creator said that he would dwell in the thick of darkness. That was what he was telling Solomon for his wrongdoing. 2 Chronicles chapter 6 and verse 1. Then said Solomon, the Creator hath said that he would dwell in the thick darkness. Job chapter 3 and verse 4. Let that day be darkness. Let not the Creator regard it from above, neither let the light shine upon it. Don't let the light shine upon that darkness. That we're talking metaphor here. We're talking, don't let the light shine upon the wicked. They are the darkness. Job chapter 3 verse 5. Let darkness and the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. Job chapter 3 and verse 6. As for that night, let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be joined unto the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Darkness and light were never supposed to mix. In other words, we should not be bringing sundown to sundown Sabbath into the Most High's, the Creator's words. It's just wrong. There is no Friday sundown to Saturday sundown Sabbath. There is no Saturday, seventh day Gregorian Sabbath. It just don't exist. Job chapter 5 verse 14. They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope in the noonday as in the night. These are blind people. He's saying they are blind. They're in darkness. They can't see because they have no light. Job chapter 10 verse 21. Before I go whence, I shall not return even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. These two things are connected, darkness and death. Job chapter 10 and verse 22. A land of darkness, as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death, without any order, and where the light is, as darkness. Job chapter 12 and verse 22. He discovered deep things out of darkness, and bringeth out to light the shadow of death. He stepped out of the darkness and the shadow of death into the light. He repented and crossed over into the light. Job chapter 15 and verse 22. He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness, and he is waited for of the sword. Job 15 verse 23. He wandered abroad for bread, saying, where is it? He knows that the day of darkness is ready and at his hand. That cannot be a good thing. Job 15 and verse 30. He shall not depart out of darkness. The flame shall dry up his branches, and by the breath of his mouth shall he go away. Can y'all see the darkness is evil? When the Most High created the day, he also allowed darkness to exist. It's the things that tempt us are considered dark. They're dark, they're wicked, they're evil. Those things he left in order for us to be tested. You cannot go through your life claiming to worship the Creator and him alone and also fellowship with darkness. You can't do it. You cannot serve two masters. Job 17 and verse 12. They changed the night into day. The light is short because of darkness. Job chapter 17 and verse 13. If I wait, the grave is my house. I have made my bed in darkness. That is a terrible thing. Job chapter 18 and verse 18. He shall be driven from light into darkness and chased out of the world. Doesn't that tell you darkness is bad? And he shall be chased out of this world. Job chapter 19 and verse 8. He hath fenced up my way that I cannot pass, and he hath set darkness in my path. Darkness is a very bad thing. Job chapter 20 and verse 26. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. Job chapter 22 and verse 11. Or darkness that thou canst not see, an abundance of waters cover thee. Job 23 and verse 17. Because I was not cut off before the darkness, neither hath he covered the darkness from my face. Job chapter 28 and verse 3. He setteth an end to darkness and searches out all perfection. All perfection is referring to the light. The light is perfection. The stones of darkness and the shadow of death. Job 29 and verse 3. When his candle shine upon my head, and when by his light I walked through darkness. You gotta be able to see this. When his candle shined upon my head, and when by his light I walked through darkness. This is clearly saying darkness is not a good thing. We need light in order to be able to walk through it. Job chapter 30 verse 26. When I looked for good, then evil came unto me. And when I waited for light, there came darkness. What does that tell you? Job 34 and 22. There is no darkness, no shadow of death, where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. Darkness is not good. Job 37 and verse 19. Teach us what we shall say unto him, for we cannot order our speech by reason of darkness. We cannot reason with the Creator because everything about us is dark, and he will not accept that. So they're asking to be taught. Teach us what to say that will shine light so that we can exist in this light and come out of the darkness. Job 38 verse 9. When I made the cloud the garment thereof, and thick darkness and swaddling band for it. Job 38 and verse 19. Where is the way where light dwelleth? We're looking for the light. And as for darkness, where is that place thereof? They want to find the light, but they want to avoid the darkness because it's not good. Psalms 18 and verse 9. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. That's clearly saying the Creator is in control of not just the light, but also the darkness. Psalms 18, verse 11, he made darkness in his secret place, his pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. Psalms 18 and 28, for thou wilt light my candle. The Creator, my Father, will enlighten my darkness. To enlighten my darkness is the opposite of being in darkness. He's asking to be brought out of the darkness because it's not good. Psalms 82 and verse 5. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk on in darkness. So is darkness good or bad? Listen. They know not, neither will they understand. Why? Because they walk on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. Psalms 88 and verse 6. Thou hast laid me in the lowest pit, and the darkness in the deeps. That's a punishment. Psalms 88 verse 18. Lover and friend hast thou put far from me, and mine acquaintance into darkness. Psalms 91 and verse 6. Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that waste at noonday. Psalms 97 and verse 2. Clouds of darkness are round about him. Righteousness and judgment are the habitation of his throne. What is righteousness and judgment? That's the light. That's the light. Psalms 104 verse 20. Thou makest darkness, and it is night, wherein all the beasts of the forest do creep forth. That's when all the critters come out at night, all the bad things. So why am I bringing these scriptures up? I want y'all to take a second look at the creation in Genesis, and this time look at it from a different perspective. Because during the creation, like I said earlier, the Most High was creating more than what we saw with our physical eye. But when you look at it again in your spiritual self, you're going to see that that light that he created, it wasn't just for day. It was for Israel. They are the light unto the Gentiles. Shalom.